All right, folks, good morning. Okay, let's get started. So for today, uh, Wednesday, February the 19th, we have the following information. At 8:30 a.m., we had building permits and housing starts. Both came in as expected. At 2 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have the FOMC meeting minutes. That, of course, is a massively important report, and we should expect substantial volatility at that time. Obviously, traders will be looking to see what the Fed is thinking with respect to lowering interest rates later this year, or perhaps they may signal that with the uptick in inflation, that they maybe will postpone that. So the markets definitely will be looking at those notes to see if there are any clues with respect to that. All right, having said that, taking a look at the QQQ ETF, we currently are looking like we're going to open slightly lower than where we closed yesterday. And yesterday's action was mostly bearish and not very smooth, but definitely a negative inclination yesterday. Taking a look at the stocks, which we found yesterday, we found a couple. First off was Meta. That wasn't the first one we found, but Meta was definitely bearish and it was able to reach our target number two to the downside. Um, and it actually went way below that, bottomed out at 706.44. And then we also looked at SMCI, which was bullish, but this one was not successful for us. We broke even on that one. As you can see in the after hour session, SMCI is up sharply. And it's not actually due to any earnings news or anything like that. Uh, so looks like honestly, looks like this might just be due to some social media stuff, but let's take a look at it. So right now, SMCI is up 7.7%, 12.8 million shares. Of course, it's above $1 per share, so we'll go ahead and add that to our pre-market radar since it already qualifies for it. So we're adding SMCI. All right, let's look at what other stocks are moving in the pre-market here that meet our criteria. All right, so here are the NASDAQ stocks that we're going to look at. So ALZN, that's currently up 14%, 9.8 million shares traded, and it's at least $1 per share, so we can go ahead and add ALZN. Next up is CMMB, which is presently up 6.22% on 12 million shares, is at least $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add CMMB to the radar. Next up is CYCU, which is presently up 38.5% on 9.7 million shares, and it's at least $1 per share. So we'll add CYCU to the list. Next up, we'll check FFIE. I don't think it qualifies, but actually it does barely. FFIE up 8.2%, 2.3 million shares roughly have traded, and it's at least $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add FFIE to our list. And next up is INTC. Okay, that's down about 3.8%, so not down or up enough. So we'll pass on that one. Um, Grab. Okay, that's only at 0.75%, so we'll skip that. JTAI. Okay, JTAI is up 27% or more. 3.6 million shares traded. It's at least $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add JTAI to the pre-market radar. Next up is NIVF, which is presently up about 25%. on 7.1 million shares. It's at least $1 per share, of course. So we'll add NIVF to our list. All right, next up is OSRH. That is presently up about 82.5% on about 8.8 million shares, trading at least $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add OSRH to the list. Next up is RGTI, which is not up enough, 2.19%, so we'll have to skip that one. Next up is RSLS, which is presently up 31.44% on 9.3 million shares. It's at least $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add RSLS to our radar. All right. Next up is SEDG, which is presently up about 29% on 2.3 million shares. It's at least $1 per share as well, so we'll add SEDG to the radar. And that's up off of earnings. Solar Edge is the company. Next up is SERV. That currently is up 13.28% on 2.7 million shares. Is at least $1 per share as well. So we'll go ahead and add SERV to our list. Next up is SINT, and that is presently up 78% on 32.2 million shares, at least $1 per share. So we'll go ahead and add that, SINT. Next up is, I already saw SMCI. Sorry, it looks like the connection dropped for a second, but it's back. Next up is TRNR. Currently up about 35% on 18 million shares, at least $1 per share as well. So we'll go ahead and add TRNR to the radar. Next up is, which is presently only up 3.2%, so not enough, so we'll pass on that one. All right. So I see Sedge just mentioned. Oh, actually, you were just mentioning that. All right, so if we see any other stocks, here are the ones I've found so far. If you see any other stocks that meet all 4 of our criteria, let me know in the chat. The 4 criteria are: it must be a NASDAQ listed stock, it must be trading at least $1 per share in the current pre-market session, must have achieved at least a 6% price change, positive or negative, and at least 1 million shares of pre-market volume. So if you see any other stocks, folks, that meet all 4 criteria besides the ones that I've already mentioned, let me know in the chat, and we will take a look. All right, so we'll go ahead and wrap up for today's session. Please be sure to hit the like button. It greatly helps us with the YouTube algorithm. Please also subscribe to the channel so you get notifications when we produce a new video. Also, if anyone's watching this video on a replay and you're not familiar with our company, check out fundertrading.com, our website. You will see a link in the description to this video. Other than that, for everyone who's part of the coaching program, I'll see you there in about 21 minutes, and we'll pick up for today's trading session. All right, folks, have a great trading day. I'll see you for tomorrow's Premarket Pulse. Take care.